Hi everyone, and welcome back to Incident Clinic. In this series, we walk through real production issues and show how those can be solved using the Microtica Incident Investigator agents. Before we dive into the incidents, let me give you just a quick update of what happened in the meantime in terms of the features and what's new. We added Kubernetes support. It's now live. You can investigate incidents not only in AWS, but also on your Kubernetes cluster, or even on both at the same time, which makes the agent even more powerful now. The other thing that we added is the more control over the commands that are executed. So our agents are using AWS and Kubernetes tools, which are built by us. They are custom built into the platform, and they can only perform the operations. But now the agent can also suggest and execute commands for deeper investigation. So those are arbitrary commands that can be executed. What's important for those commands is that you can decide where do you want to run or skip each command. Commands are always limited to the permissions that you give on the AWS and the Kubernetes cluster. And in the future, we want to even give more transparency and for the user to understand for each command what the permissions is required, but also giving you the possibility to choose which set of commands should be executed automatically and which should stay manual. From a permission perspective, for example, run automatically the read-only commands, but allow me to execute the right operations and delete operations manually. So let's immediately dive into the incidents. So we have a couple of incidents for today. First incident is about a Kubernetes cluster incident where the application is failing for some reason, and we need to understand why that's happening. So I will choose now an AWS account that's in production, but also I will choose a Kubernetes cluster. This Kubernetes cluster is connected in Microtica, and it has only read-only permissions. So I start the investigation, and how this all works is that I will start to discuss and interact with the agent to understand what's happening. So first, I would like to investigate let's say something like this, investigate pods with failed status in production namespace. So what the agent will do now is that behind the scenes, it will understand what actions and tasks has to be executed, and it will start prompting the commands that has to be executed. In this case, it will try to find all the pods that have a failed state. So it found several failed pods, and now we'll try to get into more details about what's happening with this exact pod. So this is even more getting into more details of this, and so the agent will be able to understand better what's happening. If you like, you can also dive into the exact command and the input and output of that command. So there is a full transparency there. So now it investigates the logs, why this is happening, what's the problem. We'll investigate the deployment as well, and now we'll check the usage as well. It found something that around the ephemeral storage, which the pods are probably failing because of some problems with the storage. The outcome of the problem, the summary. There are some recommended next steps and some steps to investigate it further, but let's go on the right side and see what's happening. So the search status is critical. There are 6 failed pods. Failure reason is the ephemeral storage eviction. So the pod is failing because it starts to use an extensive amount of ephemeral storage, which is in this case too much for the Kubernetes nodes to handle. So, and this is like remove that specific pod from the cluster, mark that as evicted, and it's creating and starting up new pods. So the application most probably is not affected, but there are a lot of those pods are failing, and it's always a good thing, though the application is not always affected, to fix this problem. One way of fixing that problem is to go into the application and see why the application is taking so much of that ephemeral storage. Is there any other way that this can be done, optimized, or maybe we can store that storage, store those files or whatever it's stored there on some other place, or if some immediate, if nothing else can be done, we can increase the amount of storage for each of those Kubernetes nodes. Besides the issues detected, so we have the problem summary where it's explained in more details, but also what are the exact critical nodes which lead to this conclusion for the agent. So we know what's the problem now. Maybe we can now check how much the Kubernetes nodes are configured to have a storage. Let's see. The nodes, get some more details here. Yeah, it will now just to make sure that there is no problem now at the moment. It will check how much is there a problem at the moment with this pressure, disk pressure, and also it gave me an information of the total ephemeral storage, allocatable ephemeral storage. I can even now, because I chose to integrate with AWS but also with a cluster, I can even check on the AWS exactly how those nodes are configured. Can you check? Yeah, so now we'll get an AWS command to get that information directly from AWS. Now it knows which instances are related to that Kubernetes cluster, and now we'll analyze the volumes, and all of those are configured. So you can get even in more details and ask for some metrics from CloudWatch to better understand what's happening. So it's pretty much the same information here, but I just wanted to show you that you can combine the AWS tools with Kubernetes tools, which in most of the cases are really important. Some problem on AWS on Kubernetes actually could lead to and could be a cause for some problem in AWS, whether that's a networking issue or a scaling issue or some problem with the nodes, etc. So the combination of both will give you the best results. The second incident is for a customer that reported an issue with the application and a lot of 500 errors, which had a huge impact of their customers. So it's their infrastructure, it's on AWS, hosted on Fargate cluster. It's on production in Frankfurt region. So let's start with the incident session there. And since this happened on 17th of August, let's be specific, or if it's, for example, today, you can just say, today I experienced a problem with my cluster. Please investigate what's the problem. So in this case, there are a few clusters that they're running. We are not sure which of the clusters has a problem. So really specific here, just say one of the clusters are experiencing problem, or maybe the both of them. Let's see. So what the agent will do, again, it will define the steps and a task that has to be executed behind the scenes. In the future, we want to add them and show them here to have even more transparency of what the tasks has to be executed and the status of all of those tasks. And yeah, let's see what's so. It get current just to understand where look from time perspective, from time, list all the clusters, list the load balancers, get the it got the load balancers matrix. It tried to combine different load balancers with the clusters itself. So let's see what happened. Some problem here. 10% here, so something really bad is happening here. So let's just dive in. It got streams and correlated and got just the streams which are import frames. So when searching the logs, it got specific log stream, which really it makes the agent work much more efficient in terms of finding the problems, because there could be a lot of logs, a lot of streams, a lot of deployments in the meantime. So it found the most relevant logs that has to be investigated. With the search query for the logs to understand what's happening here until it finds the exact problem. But maybe there could be multiple. Let's identify the 500 errors. Also identify the root cause that is happening and why the application is failing is that JavaScript keep out of memory. So the way the application is configured, it's not enough to handle the requirement for the memory, and that's why the whole application is failing. So while the application it's starting up, I guess there is a lot of problem because the application is not up and running and it's not available. Here that they are taking 10 to 30 seconds to process as well, probably because there is a huge amount of memory that it's consumed by the application. So now I can say to increase the memory available for the node process. So I'm now now if now modify those scripts like this. So as you said, the node